I think you're live, Joe.
Welcome to the Joe Vin Sports Show. We are live. What's up, Vin and Jim? You guys ready to go?
Boys?
NFL Sunday, man. It's here. We're finally here. This is Christmas.
I woke up pretty excited this morning. Realized I didn't have any coffee at the house, though. Kind of took me down a notch. I'm back, though.
He's back.
Man, that's a misstep.
Very big oversight.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, I guess that's a little bit better than being a Dish subscriber and finding out that you have no red zone, the morning of NFL opening weekend. So they likely won't have my business for much longer. If anyone from Dish is listening, you wet noodles.
Speaking of, I don't have coffee being a little misstep. I could just drive down and get a Starbucks. Jim has no red zone. What are you going to do this morning? Just watch? What's the morning game?
But that's out of my control. No, I will have red zone. I just looked it up. I can get it through Prime for $5 for the month. I'll put my Fire Stick in. I'll have it. The two games on TV this morning actually aren't bad, and they're actually, it's a good segue into what we're talking about because I got Falcons Seahawks, and then
Yes.
Raiders and Panthers.
Oh, okay. You got the two best games possibly for DFS perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
still not ideal.
No, I've got a 3.5 pound tri-tip that I got to get on the grill kind of early too. So
All right. Well,
Your life seems a little too hectic for me right now.
Yeah, you need to get a little bit more zen. But
all right, guys. So here's how it's going to work. We got DFS, a daily fantasy today, starting at 10 a.m. The slate's going to go through the 10 a.m. games and the 1 p.m. games. We're not covering Sunday night. We're going to go through all of our positions, our favorite players, and kind of what our exposure is to those players to give you guys a hint of who you should play today to make some money. So we're going to start with our quarterbacks. We're going to do a little round robin, kind of saying Vinny will talk about what quarterbacks he likes and his exposure, go to Jimmy, and then we'll finish up with me, and we'll move through position to position. So going with that, we got Vinny at quarterback. Who do
you want me
got,
just to rattle off my 2 or 3 guys that I'm rolling with today?
Yeah, exactly. And then if we got some matching guys, me and Jim, we'll pop in on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little bit more spread out. I'm about 25% exposure to Cam, Minshew, and Matt Ryan. And then I've got kind of the other 25% split up between Fitzgerald and Garoppolo.
All right.
So
Jim.
Yeah, so I have some similarities there with Minshew. Obviously, I think he's a great value today. The one guy that I'm on that Vinny's not really on is Mitchell Trubisky, which is a kind of plug your nose and go kind of guy. But he's playing the Lions. The Lions are absolutely terrible. It's going to be indoors. It's going to be, I think a high-scoring game. Mitchell runs around a little bit. So that'll help as well. I know that there's one guy that Joey's on that he'll probably talk about a little bit. I don't know if he actually had the stones to play him, but I played him in one. That's a little tease for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I like Cam. Really surprising to me that Matt Ryan was going to come in, lower ownership than I thought. I mean, ownership at quarterback is usually pretty spread out, just because it kind of always is, unless there's an unbelievable smash spot. I mean, I got to imagine people are going to be on Lamar today, but
also with every single game going today, I guess the majority of them, there's no bye weeks.
We got 12 games on the slate.
So it's got to kill the ownership a little bit for some.
Yeah, the ownership's going to be spread out definitely a little bit more. I think Lamar's going to go the highest owned, but I think everyone else is going to come under 10%. It's going to be pretty spread out. But I'm with you guys. I got Cam Newton and Minshew in about 35% of my lineups each. And then I got it spread out with Carr, Matt Ryan, and Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go as a little bit of a sleeper today. No one's talking about him. The Vikings defense has been solid for about 4 years now. And I think people still have that in their memories that the Vikings are solid. I think the Green Bay Packers smash the Vikings today. That defense, I think, is depleted, injured, awful, and it's complete turnover with no preseason, no offseason. I think Rodgers is a sneaky play today at 6,300, but you guys are right. My favorites are Cam Newton and Gardner Minshew for fantasy only.
I just look at and I'm not saying they're the best quarterbacks on the slate, but for price and for what I need out of them and what that gets me, I'm perfectly happy with, if they can get me 25, I'm, tickled pink.
Hell yeah.
So I'm fired up.
Yeah, I mean that was really more my thinking with Trubisky. I mean, he's $300 cheaper than Minshew, and can provide some of the same upside against what I think is a much worse defense in the Lions than the Colts. Colts got a pretty good defense. We'll get to defense a little bit later, but
yeah,
I see a lot of people talking. If you're going to pay up for defense, this week play the Colts. Minshew's just going to have to check it around. But again, Trubisky at $300 less than whatchamacallit. And this could be Trubisky's only start of the whole year too, right? This is like sink or swim time for him. They have Foles on the bench. They had to start with Trubisky because you can't start with Foles and then go back to Trubisky. So that's kind of where it led me. Like Vinny said, there's a lot of other plays in other positions where, I'll take the savings at quarterback in the 5,000 range and be able to pay up elsewhere.
Who do you think is going to have more ownership, Mitchell or our boy Minshew?
I mean, Minshew, he's been talked about a lot, but I think Trubisky might be 2 to 3% owned, as to where Minshew may be 6 to 7. I mean, it's not an appreciable difference. If you're playing a lineup with Chark and Thompson or one of those two, you just play Minshew.
Right.
But just to get different, if you want to play Anthony Miller or somebody like that, then you play Trubisky, and that's kind of how I approached it. I didn't say all right, I'm starting my lineup with Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, I have Tyrod in a lineup just because it worked with how my lineup construction went, right?
And I'm just pulling up here some of the
And Trubisky does have running capabilities, right? I mean, he might get you 40 yards in running. He might get you a running touchdown. He does have capabilities to do those things. And let's be honest, in DraftKings, turnovers aren't that big of a hit, right? So
absolutely,
Trubisky, I don't think is not a bad play at all. I would never start him for my own football team, but for my fantasy football team, absolutely.
Yeah, I have in here too. I'm just pulling up kind of our the ownership projections that we use over here. Lamar is the only one that's going to be over 10%, they're saying. And then it's going to go Russ, Cam, Carson, Matt Ryan. But again, even Matt Ryan at 6%. It's to the point where it was looking at, because I wasn't playing Lamar, it was just I don't even care. It's not going to be a big enough impact for me that it's a huge issue. So
right,
exactly.
Okay. Cool. Let's go on to running backs. This is where I think this is where things get kind of interesting.
Yeah, so I'll start this one. So I had I was playing 14 or 15 running backs going into last night, and I decided to smash that down into a total of 7. So I'm playing 7 running backs, and I'm just spreading them out across all my lineups. My favorites are Aaron Jones, again with the same reason of the Vikings. I think Aaron Jones is going to go more low owned. I know me and Jimmy were going back and forth a little bit last night about this. I do not trust the Vikings right now. That defensive line is totally hurt. Secondary's hurt. They're going to have to drop 7 or 8 back to defend Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I think Jones is going to have a huge day today. And he had a huge day against the Vikings last year twice. My other guy I'm really heavy on is Christian Thompson.
Chris Thompson
for the Jaguars for the same reason. Minshew's going to be running around dumping it off.
Have some respect and get the name right, huh?
Christian, whatever, man. They're just horses. They're just horses. 'Tis the law, American Pharaoh, whatever. So Thompson's another guy I'm heavily owning. Also, I have Eckler and McCaffrey. Those are my big guys I have in almost every single lineup.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, so I mean, McCaffrey, I was originally going to go 75% McCaffrey. Just in looking at some of the other game scripts, I don't think I need to go that much. So I'm about 50% exposed to McCaffrey across my lineups. I'm playing 13 lineups. I have 9 running backs out of the pool that I'm playing. Obviously McCaffrey is one of them. Eckler, Cook, Chris Thompson. And then my other ones are McKinnon and Gurley. Those are kind of my favorites. Again, Gurley, it's the healthiest he's going to be all year. So if you're going to play him, week 1 is going to have to be the time to play him. And they're in a really, really good spot. Seattle plays a cover 3, which typically funnels a lot of passes to the tight ends and running backs short. They try and keep everything underneath. So, I think overall that game's going to be really, really popular fantasy wise. Obviously Julio, Ridley, those guys are going to be popular, but I think Gurley's going to go a little bit under the wire. They lost Clowney. Seattle's defense has lost a lot of people. And now I know that they gained Jamal Adams, but that really doesn't really matter against Gurley. And then again, Thompson, I think we're all big fans of min price for running back. He's going to get a ton of volume. And then McKinnon, I know, Vinny, you and I are on board with McKinnon. The air quality in Santa Clara, they're going to play today, but, it may not be as much as they like with Tevin Coleman because he's got some respiratory issues. So McKinnon's going to get a ton of snaps. Those are my guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
And McKinnon, I mean, I got to imagine, and this is just kind of my thoughts on it, is that news obviously with Coleman is popping up. Like I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter kind of freaking out about Tevin Coleman not playing now all of a sudden. And like, are we going to see a lot of chalk move on to Mostert because he's not overpriced either? But I just think McKinnon is going to be, he'll be the de facto number 2. And if he can catch 5-6 balls or, at least get those targets today, like they're going to rotate because of the air quality. Like this is going to probably be a 50-50 split later. So,
yeah.
And for dirt cheap price. So
you guys want to hear the elephant in the room. So FTN Daily, I got to get a shout out to them. They're the site that I'm using this year. Our man, Boston Scott, they just posted their projected ownership for today on DraftKings.
What do they have it?
Take a guess.
Well, I have what I use is Guru Elite, and they have Boston Scott right now at about 23%.
Oh, I'll fade that all day, personally.
Is that what they have too, Jim, or no?
Higher.
What?
They've got Boston
I
Scott
can see that, man.
They've got Boston Scott coming in at anywhere between 38 to 42% ownership on DraftKings.
Oh my God. But you know what that's going to mean? It's going to leave Thompson. It's going to go lower owned, right? McKinnon might go under 1%.
Yeah.
Here, I can find for you here.
I can tell you that at least and Jim, on yours, you can kind of confirm. I have, as far as some of the highest owned running backs is McCaffrey, Boston Scott now, Jacobs, Kamara, and Gibson. Is that kind of what they have too?
Yeah, we've got McCaffrey at about 26 to 28%. Let's see here. Dalvin Cook at 15%, which I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not bad.
Josh Jacobs at 28 to 29%, which we kind of knew that. And then Kamara at 21%. And then obviously we've got Boston Scott at 42%. And Todd Gurley coming in at just 13%.
I'll hit on the guys here that I'm rolling with. It's a little bit different. I mean, we kind of have the same core. I'm about 40 to 50% as far as ownership on these guys. And it's McCaffrey, Cook, Mixon, and Chris Thompson is my pay down. Is like my main guy. Did you guys say you're on Mixon, or am I the only one that's like I put my stake in the ground there?
I've got 2 lineups with Mixon.
Okay.
I'm not playing Mixon.
You're not?
I'm not playing Mixon. I just want to see what the Bengals are. I just don't know what they are right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never like assuming like the Bengals are a smart football team because it usually doesn't result well. But like it's Joe Burrow's first game, and I know he's got a ton of weapons. But the Chargers have a good pass rush, and they've got really good corners.
So good linebackers too.
But what I'm saying is like their only shot to like ease Burrow into the NFL and like have a shot to stay in this game is lean on Mixon today.
Yeah.
I got to imagine that's the play. But I got a bit of Eckler, Jacobs, McKinnon are like my next 3 highest owned. And then as far as some of my kind of long shot, the one long shot guy that I really like is Zach Moss in Buffalo. I really like the kid at Utah. Like he was a complete workhorse running back for them. He's a 3-down type of guy. I think he's going to very shortly in the season. That's his job. And Devin Singletary will be the secondary guy. He'll be the change of pace guy. So
I don't disagree with you there, but kind of like we were talking about yesterday with Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it's week 1. There was no training camp, and then running back rookies. Obviously, that's the position that you can deal with as little like training camp time as possible, because I mean, you just here's the ball, here's the running scheme, right?
Totally.
It's not terrible, but at the same time, I still think that in Buffalo, Singletary is going to have like a 70%. It's going to be like 70 to 30, just because for a few different reasons. Well, look, you say he's a 3-down guy, right? But the big area that he needs help with is pass blocking, right? He hasn't had any time. They have no idea. They don't want to get Josh Allen killed week 1. So look, maybe he gets 40% of the snaps, but really, I mean, for these rookies like Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, I think it's fine to just sit and see.
No, for sure. And again, the only reason I have him, and I have him in 2 lineups, like out of 14. So 2 out of 14, like it's a very small share. Obviously, I'm not on him as a core player or anything like that. I think he takes all the goal line reps. And just from everything that obviously you've read, which you have to take with a grain of salt, they keep talking that Singletary has some fumbling issues. So, who knows? Maybe he did a yank or something like that. So
look, he did last year, and that's a legitimate. I think your whole argument of playing Moss today, that is your legitimate argument, right? Is if he has a fumble early in this game, they might just say, look, this is the NFL, dude.
And he's just the third guy for me off of Chris Thompson, Jerick McKinnon, Zach Moss in the 4,000s, where I'm saying I'm not touching Boston Scott or Antonio Gibson.
And that's where
I'll let 60% of the field play those guys. And, I think
that's where Vinny, and that's where I'm on Mac, is all these people are going Boston Scott and the guy on the Redskins. What's his name? Gibson. I think a lot of people are going to go on him. I think people are underlooking Mac because of Jonathan Taylor. This is the best offensive line in the NFL, especially for running. Marlon Mack had a 200-yard game last year.
No,
Jonathan
really
Taylor,
player.
they said, is having a hard time catching the ball out of the backfield, doing some things. And again, he's a rookie. I think Marlon Mack, he's going to get vultured a little bit by Taylor, but for as cheap as Mack is, I think Mack is that play in the high 4K range. And when I was building my lineups, Mack just kept fitting in. It was starting to annoy me. Like, it was always Mack that kept fitting in. I got him in 3 out of my 9 lineups. So I think Mack might be a sneaky guy today.
Yeah, no, I hear
people are overlooking.
For sure.
So just to, I was looking for him. I couldn't find him. I finally did. Joe, you'll like to hear this. Aaron Jones ownership coming in at about 7%.
I love that, man.
Joe Mixon about 10 to 11%.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
So two guys that we, collectively as a group are a little bit higher on, coming in at, some pretty depressed ownership. I mean, I'll be honest, I have Boston Scott in 1 lineup, but it's with an Eagle stack.
You sell out. I'm just kidding.
He just fit, right? Like I already.
But I know he's going to get the majority. Like, why not just play Corey Clement if you're going to do it? Let 50% of the people go to Boston Scott, and Corey Clement's at 6%. It's like,
if I was just gonna play one person, absolutely. But I already have Wentz. I already have Ertz, and it's just I'm just trying to right there gobble up all of the touchdown equity, or about 80% of the touchdown equity.
Totally.
I know we're gonna get to the wide receivers here in a second, but last year in Boston Scott's only start, he had 188 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So here's some live breaking news. Lane Johnson for the Eagles is inactive today. That's their 3rd starting offensive lineman that's missing in this opening game.
Versus the Redskins front
that
7
may have the best defensive line in the league.
Or elite. Talent-wise, they are elite.
I'm not touching that. The only players I'm touching from this game I have one Deshaun Jackson and a little bit more Rieger, who we'll get to, but that's just because maybe Wentz has a broken play and fires one off.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean,
Let's move on. Let's move on to receivers.
yeah. Let's get there. All right. So where are you going, Joe?
So on receivers,
just give us like your top high guys, mid, and a few like low.
My favorite guys. Number one's Devontae Adams. He's the only receiver I'm paying up for, and it's because the whole thing with the Vikings. The Vikings I think they're going to lay a dud today. Devontae Adams might get 12 catches. My other players I'm really high on is Crowder for the Jets, just a high volume play with Darnold. And then we got Ruggs for the Raiders, just for the pure explosiveness. I'm hoping, he catches one crossing pattern and takes it 85 yards. And my other favorite guy, high volume, especially in the red zone, is Tyler Lockett. And I have a little bit of a mixed exposure with DK Metcalf. So I don't get totally screwed. But Tyler Lockett, I'm obsessed with putting in my lineups this week. And I put DJ Chark in every lineup I had Minshew. So I stacked up my three Chark with 3 Minshews. But I love Lockett and Crowder, probably my 2 favorite guys.
Jim, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm big on Adams too. I'm big on Crowder as well. Some of the other guys that Joe didn't mention that I'm on. I'm heavy on Chark. I'm playing him in about 60% of lineups. Just the price is just the price for the volume. It's just there. It just makes sense.
What is he, 63?
Yeah, he's 6,300. And I mean, he's going to get,
Jim, who's that?
DJ Chark. I think he might get 16 to 17 targets today.
Yeah. And that's where I was with Chark and Crowder. They're both in that 6,300 range, and their volume is just going to be so high.
D.D. Westbrook is inactive today too.
Well, yeah. Okay. So, just there we go. Thompson and Chark are just going to get everything.
Yeah.
Right. Some of the other guys that we kind of haven't talked about that I really do like. I mean, obviously I'm on Trubisky. A lot of people are going to play Allen Robinson. I actually like Anthony Miller quite a bit. I have him in 60% of my lineups. He plays the slot. Trubisky throws about 53% of the time to the slot. And the Lions slot corners are absolute hot garbage. So, I mean, the whole defense is not great, but their weakest point is right there. Again, that's going to be a volume play. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit today. So some other guys, I like Lockett as well.
Jim, real quick. I don't even know where this came from. Apparently I wasn't following it or just assumed Jeff Okudah is not active today for the Lions.
Yeah, exactly.
Their number 2 overall pick. So, I mean, dude, maybe Mitchell is a sneaky
dude, and Mitchell's only great games are against the Lions. I think he's had 3 touchdowns in both of his previous games against the Lions. So the Lions somehow make Trubisky look like a Pro Bowler. I might have to sneak Trubisky into a lineup or 2.
And then the one that I haven't heard anybody talk about because the Niners have this amazing, great defense is Hopkins. Is new.
Yeah.
I'm playing him 3 lineups. I don't care that. Well, what if Sherman? Dude, Richard Sherman is a great corner, but he is old as hell. He's getting so slow. The Niners, by far, weakest part of their team is that corner. Right.
He also doesn't follow. He's not going to follow Hopkins around the field.
They will move Hopkins around to get him the ball.
Oh, yeah. He'll be out of a wing position sometimes in that offense. He's going to be coming out of the backfield. It's going to be interesting.
They'll run him out of the slot. I mean, look, the Cardinals know that they're going to have to throw deep. And that's if we look at all the games where the Niners got exposed last year, look at the Super Bowl. What did the Chiefs do down the stretch? They just started throwing deep out patterns, deep in cuts. That deep middle, that deep third of the field is the Niners' weakness. And I mean, by looking at the projections, nobody is going to play Hopkins. Because oh my God. Yeah. So there's 2 things. For some reason, guys in the afternoon games just tend to get forgotten about a little bit, which is a weird thing that I've noticed over the last few years. But the Niners have this, oh my God, amazing defense, and they're playing at home. Well, guess what? There's going to be 0 people in the stadium at home. So, DeAndre Hopkins at 7% ownership. I mean, Give me all that. And by the way, DJ Chark is only coming in at about 8 to 9% ownership. I have no idea why. And then here's the guy we were talking about, Vinny. I know you're on this guy. Joey and I are off of him. I'm playing him in one lineup as a part of a Lamar stack, but Marquise Brown is 24% owned today.
Yeah, I know. And that's the biggest concern I have. I know.
People are so hyped on the Ravens right now. I will fade them every day right now. They're just everyone's so hyped on the Lamar train, and as well as they should be. But again, he's going to be coming in at 24-25%, and I can't play that. It's too risky.
Yeah, no, I hear it for sure. And I cooled off once I got wind of the ownership last night. Like I have, again, out of 14 lineups, I have Hollywood in 3, so it's not like huge, crazy exposure to him. I just think Cleveland's defensive backfield is completely demolished. So I feel like I need to get a piece of him, and I'm not getting any Lamar. I'm full fading Lamar. So for me, like, that's my way to get exposure to him and just hope Lamar doesn't run in 4 touchdowns today. If Lamar can get 2 of those touchdowns deep to Hollywood, like I'm okay. Like I'm okay there. And I'm getting exposure to that whole thing by doing that. So,
hey, what do you guys think? And I know we're all big on Cam Newton, and I have exposure in 2 lineups to Edelman. What do you guys think of Julian Edelman?
I don't.
Go ahead, Jim.
I'm off all of the receivers. I have Cam in 1 or 2 lineups, but as far as it goes this week, I mean, Edelman's a fine play. I just think that there's other people at his ownership that are going to get more volume and are in a better predictable situation. I have no idea what Cam is going to do today. I don't know how they've changed that offense. For Edelman at $6,000, like, there's just other guys I'd rather play. Like,
I just felt like since I had Cam in 35% of my lineups, I just felt like I needed some stack. I needed someone for him to throw to. You know what I mean? I'm not playing a running back from them.
So here's kind of my thought, and it's like I heard it last night, so I can't claim it, but like I don't know who Cam's favorite target is, right? Like we've never seen him play in this offense, and to be fair, like Edelman is a small, quick, get open in like a tight window and go kind of guy. Like that's not really ever been Cam's game. Like Cam's not a sharpshooter. So,
so real quick, who are a couple of guys? Maybe each of us can give out one under $5,000 at wide receiver that you feel good that's going to get, let's say, 12 or more points today.
Yeah.
Go
under 10%, you said?
No, under $5,000.
No, under 5K
salary.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You know who I really like today is Preston Williams.
Oh, dude, you took
Dolphins.
my guy.
My boy,
hey, man.
Rested.
I have him in one lineup. I'm not going huge on him, but I feel like I needed to have him somewhere at 4,500. And Stephon Gilmore is going to be on. Oh my God, losing it.
He's going to be on Devontae Adams.
Devontae Parker. Yeah, you fucked up too. So I think Stephon Gilmore is going to be on Devontae Parker. Fitzpatrick is Huck and Chuck. Preston Williams was balling last year for the games he did play. I think he's going to get 3 times. My other guy that I don't know. This is me just going with my gut. It's Paris Campbell for the Colts. Okay. At 3,900. I feel like I'll take a shot on a guy that runs a 4.2 and was a second-round draft pick last year and a very complete offense. Opposite of T.Y. So I really like Paris Campbell at 3,900 and Preston Williams.
All right, Vinny.
As far as 2 guys that I'm paying down with, I have a lot of Preston as well. I like him a lot. I will be playing more Jalen Reagor for the Eagles, and it's just everyone's going to be on Deshaun Jackson, and he provides the same exact upside, if not more. He's been kind of the talk of the Eagles camp. He wasn't even on the radar to play today. And then I texted you guys last night, and Jim, you were even like, wait, what? Like,
he's active.
So he's got to be way less on the Deshaun. He's cheap, and he's blazing fast. So he's just as big of a threat. I'm going with Reagor. And as far as like for the Niner game, again, I think Trent Taylor absorbs just a lot of those targets and catches. Like
$3,900.
$3,900 is a free square. Like he needs 4 catches for like 45 yards to like hit value. And I'm totally cool with it. And that's
honestly,
100% he's going to get that today.
Yeah, like, and that's where I was on Paris Campbell.
I need to look at some prop bets actually on that because.
Dude, and that's where Paris Campbell, Paris Campbell is the X receiver.
Yeah.
And he's 3,900. Like I was baffled by that.
Yeah. I hear you with Hollywood. I'm trying to find a way to get off of him, but I also don't want to make any knee jerks because if he does go for,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have your lineups right now, you know, you have them, and you're not going to really do too much.
Totally.
My two cheap guys, Joey's going to hate this first one because he thinks that apparently Dwayne Haskins is fucking worse than moldy bread. But Steven Sims Jr. at $4,700. You know, obviously it's been well detailed that McLaurin's going to get a lot of attention today. Steven Sims Jr. is the guy that emerged at the end of the season last year that had some rapport with Dwayne Haskins. And, you know, say what you want about how good they are, but
yeah,
I mean, the Eagles' pass defense was nothing special last year. So this is going to be a bit of a high-scoring game. I really, really, really think that he provides some great upside. And then the other one that, you know, a lot of people, I don't think I've heard any. Again, he's a rookie, so I have no idea what's going to happen. But I have him in one lineup, Justin Jefferson, for the Vikings. He's playing opposite of Thielen. Thielen's going to get a lot of attention today. He's one of my punts, 4,800. Roll him out there, see what happens.
I like that.
Move on to tight end.
Yeah.
Moving on. I got 3 tight ends this week. I'm literally going with 9 lineups, 3, and 3. I got Herndon for the Jets. Again, crazy athletic. Vinny, you're the one that put me on Herndon. He wasn't even on my radar until we talked the other day. With Darnold at quarterback, I know the Bills defense is good, but who else are going to throw to? They got Herndon and Crowder, and I made sure to put my Herndon lineups opposite from my Crowder lineups. So I got one of them and kind of opposite of each other.
Dude, he's so cheap. Like,
yeah, he's at what, 33? I think he's 3,300.
33.
Give me 3 catches for 40 yards, dude.
Jim, can you look up what Herndon's ownership looks like?
It's actually kind of it's more than you're gonna think. Crowder is just so we're talking about the Jets is at 6. Herndon.
And I'll tell you, like, I'm completely fine with it either way. I was just curious.
I'm okay with tight end ownership being high, personally.
But not just that, like, he's so cheap, it's like whatever. You know, if he sees the targets, it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I have him here at like 10%.
I think that's great. 3,300. You kidding? For a starting tight end with no targets around him?
I've got him. Well, FTN Daily has him at 13 to 17%, depending on the lineup.
Okay.
Depending on the contest.
Not the worst. My second guy is Jack Doyle for the Colts. Rivers is a tight end machine, especially with that heavy run offense, play action. Doyle was that guy, and he was really cheap as well. I think he was down at 3,700?
36.
And he's going to get all the targets. Ebron's gone, and Trey Burton's hurt on the IR again for like the 5th season in a row. My other tight end is Darren Waller for the Raiders. That's Carr's guy. I think Ruggs is going to take the top off some defenses and allow some actual space for Waller this season. So those are my 3 tight ends: Herndon, Doyle, Waller. Waller's my pay up tight end, which I had to sneak that in and move some things around to get him in there, but I feel like I had to have some exposure.
So yeah, tight end was easy for me this week. It's Kittle, it's Ertz, it's Doyle, and then I mixed in a little bit of Waller, and then I have some exposure to Irv Smith as well at 3,100 for the Vikings. One of the things I like to do that I've had success with in the past is playing 2 tight ends in a lineup. And I have quite a few lineups with Ertz and Kittle in them where I've paid down at other areas. It's just something that has worked out for me. Those are 2 guys that get a lot of volume. I'll take that all day long. You know, I've got a Doyle Kittle lineup. You know, one guy that I was looking at that I couldn't quite fit in that I kind of wanted to was Gesicki. he's going to get a lot of volume, right? But he's just a little bit too expensive.
So you know who my guy was
4,500.
there?
Dude.
Was Ozama for the Bengals.
No, I just don't.
I just kept
talk
looking
about
at him,
No.
and I took him out of all lineups. Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I also don't think. I think that they've got like a lot of receivers there. Like
yeah,
they've got
that was my
4 or 5
thing. Where
guys.
I was like, he might not even play today. They might go 5 receiver sets every play. We don't know.
Yeah, here's the problem though. He's probably going to go 5 for 55 and 2 touchdowns today, and everyone's going to like gouge their eyes out, right? The other guy that I have a little bit of exposure to, at tight end is, like I talked about earlier, is Hayden Hurst. Seattle plays at cover 3. I wanted to get some exposure to that game, and I didn't necessarily want to be all over Ridley and Julio, because everyone's going to be all over Ridley and Julio. But if they're going to keep everything underneath, I think Hayden Hurst is going to get 8 to 9 targets. I think he can easily get a touchdown. And at his
Matt Ryan loves the tight ends in the red zone, man.
Yep, 4,300. That was the guy I was kind of battling with, him and Gesicki. And we'll see what happens. But
I could be totally wrong here. I don't see the love for Hayden Hurst. Like I really don't.
So I had Hayden Hurst in a few lineups, and again, I took him out of everything and dispersed it between Herndon and Waller. I just can't get on board yet.
But okay, so even if Seattle's defense is down a little bit, and he may see, let's say he even sees 80% of Hooper's targets from last year, the best player on the Seahawks defense, who they just signed, plays strong safety, going to cover him all day, and Jamal Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're not going to allocate Jamal Adams to cover Hayden Hurst, like you just said. No. They're going to allocate Jamal Adams to double Julio or to double Ridley to play over the top, or they're going to bring him down into the box to play run.
Well, that's what I mean. He's going to be in the box covering the tight end. Like he's not a true like free safety. Like he's an in the box Cam Chancellor kind of guy, and that kind of guy is not like splitting out into the slot or having to cover Ridley. Like Adams is going to cover. I think that's where I'm putting my money on. He's on Hayden Hurst, and again, I don't love it. Like I just think I'm like, give me Doyle for $1,000.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was like, I'm not going to pay up for Hurst, right?
Look, I have Hurst in 2 out of 13 lineups. I have Doyle in 5 out of 13.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm there with Doyle too, but like I can't ignore the fact that Hayden Hurst, that Julio and Ridley are going to get all kinds of doubles, and they're going to suppress their, deep shots over the top. I just can't ignore that. And like Joey said, like Matt Ryan loves the tight ends in the red zone. Like he just
totally
does, right?
Yeah. And I'm on the same guys as you. I'm like 40% Herndon, 40% Doyle, and 20% Kittle. And it's just, I would play all Kittle. I just couldn't get up there.
Yeah. I think all of us have the Kittle Waller, or just kind of our either or right now, right?
Defense is really easy for me. Saints, Washington, and then I got a couple of Colts, and that's it.
Okay. I got the Saints too in Washington. I'm really big on Washington, especially now that Lane Johnson's out. There's a chance Carson Wentz breaks his back again today in the first quarter.
It's possible.
So I really like the Skins at 2,000. I really like the Saints as a sleeper because I think everyone's terrified of the Buccaneers right now. Another sleeper of mine is the Packers. The Vikings run game is solid with Cook in the zone run, but their offensive line can't pass block, and I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I do like the Packers defense, and I like the Eagles defense because Washington has Dwayne Haskins, and that's all I have to say about that.
I'm on all those guys that you are too, but I think a few of the teams that you didn't touch on that I am on is Buffalo. I don't know why you guys seem to be like kind of on the Jets. Like you guys,
they finished last year. The Jets finished last year 6-2 with Darnold. I know this is fantasy.
People want to hammer the Jets. The Jets are not as bad as everyone thinks that they are.
Yeah, and they got a really good defense.
And the Bills are also not as good as everyone thinks that they are. They're playing at Buffalo. If this was a regular situation and that place is going to be rocking, there's going to be 0 people in the stand.
If Josh Allen's like halfway competent, they beat him 2 touchdowants today.
But that's the thing. Like if Buffalo's ahead, then that means the Jets offense is going to do even better.
I guess, but
I'm just not paying. I'm not paying that much for the Bills defense when I can get probably the same fantasy points out of Washington's defense at $2,000.
I hear you. No, 100%. Like, that makes perfect sense. I look at it like the Jets are starting 5 brand new offensive linemen today that have never played together or anything in a real game. Like, I know practice, is fine, but whatever. Give me the Bills. I'm not like over 50% on any defense. Like, it's pretty spread out. The other one that I'm on, and it's for very similar reasons, is I'm playing the Chargers. The Bengals, everyone like forgets, like, what they just draft Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, and all of a sudden they're like a playoff contender. Like, they're still one of the
Higgins
worst.
might not even get a snap today.
They're still one of the worst teams in the league, and definitely one of the worst offensive lines. And the Chargers, their strength, again, corners, and they are really good in the pass rush. So
Burrow might get smacked up a little bit today, man. I like Burrow a lot, but he might take some hits this year, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Chargers coming in at one of the highest owned defenses at about 12 to 13%.
Still not that bad, though.
The only one higher, I'm sorry, they are going to be projected to be the highest owned defense on the slate.
But how is
But
that's not bad chalk, in my opinion. Like, they're playing one of the worst teams in the league.
No.
Hey, what are the Redskins? What are the Redskins ownership right now on defense?
10 to 12.
That's not bad either for 2,000.
No.
Shit.
For 2,000.
No. Okay.
All I gotta say is I'm sensing a blowout in New England. Maybe moving some money over to the New England side.
Okay. Well, that's a wild move, but I can't stop you,
dude. Cam Newton's the Elton John of NFL, dude.
So just some other notable high owned players as we wrap up. As I'm scrolling through here, Antonio Gibson, running back for the Redskins, 20 to 24% today. That's a fade.
I'm full fade on him too.
Deshaun Jackson, 17 to 19%.
Fade.
Again, Hollywood Brown, 23 to 25. DK Metcalf coming in at 17 to 20%.
Dude, and that just solidifies my Lockett pick even more.
Yep, 100%.
Well, Lockett is more expensive, right? What is he like?
Only by 600, $500, $600 more. It's not terrible.
Yeah, you're going to get Lockett at anywhere between 12 and 15% ownership. Terry McLaurin, Joey, you'll love to hear this. He's coming in at about 20 to 22% ownership.
Dude, he's going to catch an 85-yard bomb to start the game. Watch.
Probably. And then good old
Washington, they just light him up.
Good old Uncle Marv Jones coming in at 20 to 22% as well. So
Marvin Jones is the only player that they can throw to today. So
TJ Hawkinson surprisingly on here, which I have 0 of, which this kind of scares me a little bit. It's coming in at about 14 to 15% ownership.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to come out trying to run the ball so much and try to help their defense as much as possible. I think they're trying to take all the pressure off Stafford. And fantasy-wise, I'm fading Stafford, his receivers, tight ends, all of them.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed. I was on Stafford at the beginning of the week when Galladay was playing because I thought this was going to be a little bit of a shootout. But, All right, well, I got to go get my goddamn red zone situation sorted out here
good luck
before
with that.
this starts.
All right, guys.
Well, good luck with DraftKings today. Follow us on Twitter. I am DFS Joey Levine.
I'm Vinny Levine 29.
Jimmy is
at JJ McIntosh.
We'll be tweeting all day. We're going to tweet some of our picks and how our lineups are doing. Hopefully it's all good. All right, guys. Happy Sunday.
Later, guys.
Later. All right, I think.